see Mr. All right, everybody, welcome back. Here we are for our June meeting. I hereby call it to order. And we'll go through our agenda, beginning with the minutes of the last meeting. And the roll's going on. Does it go all the way around yet?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
The roll is around.
Roll around.
Yep.
Okay, Karen, if you wouldn't mind. Are we going to read it?
No, we weren't going to read them.
We decided.
Everybody was going to read the minutes.
Okay.
I assume everybody got them yesterday morning?
Yeah. So that was our final decision to go just read them and approve.
I guess.
Them. Okay.
I mean, I can read them if you want me to. But I think everybody got them.
Yeah. Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
The question, that assumes we all have email, which we all know Bob doesn't, who is one of the commission members. So he will not have had a clue what the minutes were.
But he's not voting on them either.
Right.
But I mean, does he get mail? Does he get them anyways?
I usually print one and mail it, and I haven't done that lately. Come to think about it, I forgot all about that.
I can mail him a copy. I didn't think to do it this week, but.
Yeah. I got into the habit of doing that, and I lost the habit someplace along the line. So yeah, so we need to include Bob in that. But
yeah.
Otherwise, if he gets it. No. Is there a motion to accept the minutes as presented via email by our adroit secretary? That's you.
I have to confess, everybody, I am reading them now, so I can't vote one way or another. Because yesterday was a busy day.
Well, waiting for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, Katie moves to accept the minutes. Second?
I could second them.
Okay.
Although I read them, but
That's fine.
lots of understanding.
Okay.
So. Great.
Well, if you have any questions, be sure and ask me. We could put
Okay.
it up for you. Yeah. Okay, all in favor of accepting the minutes? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, minutes are accepted. Is there a motion to approve today's agenda?
I saw them.
Okay, Mary moves. Second?
Second.
Okay, got a tie for second with Vicki and Wally. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we're down to public comment, and I believe Maureen has a comment and a handout today, so we are ready.
Hi, Larry. I have an update on what I have done for Karen's land. I have two handouts here. The first one is to show you the copy edit I did. When I say a copy edit, I mean just simple things like grammar, stylistics, simple fact checks. And it was for what the webmaster put up while they were redesigning. Paul, could you hand that out? I thought about 12 there.
Thank you.
So it was just very simple for what was there. As I mentioned to Karen, the links were broken and I couldn't get into the HTML version, so I had to create Word. But I understand what the web designer is doing. The web designer is trying to make it more eye-appealing and juxtapose the photos with the info. So they have a nice way of showing the meeting agendas and the commission members. It tries to give you quite a bit of data, but in a way it's appealing to the eye. The web designer is following all the basic guidelines for good web design. Then I gave Ken an update of my proposed changes. That's where we have a summary with photo captions that explain the parks and projects. Paul, that's on both sides of the paper. That covers Asby Park, Autry Park, Founders Park, Russell Park, the fire truck, and the Pioneer Cemetery. Basically a photo caption of 150 words that gives historical background, except for the Pioneer Cemetery. That's longer because it's the most recent and has the most info to convey. Now that's just a draft, it's not final, but it's good for word count for the web designer. I need to double check facts. Items like the cemetery is a designated landmark of Boulder County. Your article in the Superior Historian said that dates from 2002, and Wally mentioned it at the honors ceremony in May. So I need to look into that further. The Daily Camera article in May didn't mention it. Is there some sort of special name when it's a landmark for Boulder County?
What does she mean by special name? What do you think she means by special name?
Just a special designation, is what she's saying.
Did you have a chance to look at that material I sent you?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Is there an answer in any of that?
I mean, it remains a county landmark, it's, you know.
Historic.
Yeah, Superior Cemetery. I haven't seen it called otherwise since we took ownership of it.
Yeah, I have the same answer Brian did. She's got me stumped on that one, because as far as I know,
Yes.
it's just considered to be, it was an official
Well, I
process.
wasn't sure where to look, Larry, but it all correlates with your story and the Superior Historian. I think that was an addition in early 2004. Yes, you said that the County of Boulder gave the deed back to the town of Superior during Preservation Week in 2002, and at that time designated it a county landmark.
Sounds good.
That sounds, yeah, I'd say what she's saying is correct.
Yes. Well, Larry, I need to do some fact checking there, but I've asked Karen if I could present my format changes to the advisory board. It's a bit longer, but I could in theory condense it. I might remove the fire truck and Founders Park. They are the least significant, but the other three parks and the cemetery must stay in there. They have a lot of significant history in them.
Okay, so,
So these captions are gonna go underneath photos on the homepage, below or above, like our minutes and stuff?
Yeah, well, the current town website's in the process of being redesigned, you know, obviously ADA guidelines and all that's included, but Karen is communicating with Maureen on this, and it's supposed to be hopefully done by August. So really what what that's gonna look like and what the constraints on the amount of information, we
Yeah.
don't quite know yet.
Okay.
But, and how that's gonna look, so.
But they're gonna, she said juxtapose somehow, aren't they? Like a photograph and a caption somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's right, Katie.
Looks good.
Yeah, I think so.
Be good.
Yeah. I think, Paul's still right.
It is a lot of words, but they'll just work on that, right?
Yeah. And we need to go over, do some more fact checking and so forth. I think that's kind of what she's asking for too, it sounds like. So just keep proofing it. And what she's done mostly, according to what I heard her say, is take care of the grammar and that sort of thing. And then we'll do some more checking on the facts and
Yeah, I suppose if you.
Well, Brian, the commission has done much more than just the museum at Astor Park. It's impressive when you look at all of them. It's only Founders Park where I can't find very much info. I didn't think there was much there other than the plaque for the Kite Line Interurban Railway.
I could probably add some more to that. I don't think it needs a whole lot more, but, there was a real attempt to capture history and all the, I guess called etchings in the concrete and in the flagstone and things like that. So it might be
Well, in
fluff that up a little
theory,
bit.
we can condense some things or use more photos and less text. One photo worth 1,000 words.
Right. Well, tell her we thank her for her work on this and that we'll just continue with it and continue to process it as we go along. Very good. And
You're welcome, Mary. I'll be in touch with you about fact checking. I know you have the notes from your article.
I hope so. Thank you, Maureen. And, okay, we will proceed to the treasurer's reports. Brian will be due both of them, I guess. Pardon me.
All right, the current balance in the Historic Commission donations account is $579.71. And the current balance in the Historic Preservation account is $4,318.38.
Okay, thank you, Brian. And so we'll go through the debriefing here of our recent events. Museum opening on June 1st. We ended up with a fair number of people that day, and including Avery came again, our favorite, I guess she must be a 7-year-old now. And she wants to be a volunteer.
She's very serious about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was talking about that a couple months ago. She hasn't forgotten about that.
Did you say she's 7?
Yeah,
Oh.
she had a birthday party there last year, so
Oh,
she,
cute.
yeah, it's just
She likes to sit in the desk.
the school desk,
in
yeah.
the museum.
But other than usual, Avery and Danny, I can't remember, we had a number of nice visits, so, we still have that problem, I don't know how to solve it, and that is that the Superior Sentinel comes out, in this case, after the event, after our opening, so, I think some of us talked about maybe having a special, separate email blast or something like that during that, when we have these openings so close to the end of the previous month, so just something to keep in mind, see if we remember to do that. But we had our meeting with the board on June 10th and see what kinds of reactions people had to that.
I think the meeting went quite well. They were extremely receptive. Very congenial. I really was impressed the way it was handled. I thought it was great.
How about you, Jill? all right.
a good open forum discussion, and lots of underlying resolutions that position us for the next 50 years, right?
How many?
Only the good die young, Larry.
Okay. Will I still be chair then?
If you'll have us.
I'll be chair the same year that we have light rail to Boulder and Longmont.
Yeah, we may bring
Yes.
St. Peter onto the commission by that time.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll have you in formaldehyde.
Oh, gee.
Oh, God. Gotta hold my gavel. Yeah, Karen, want to say anything about, or Karen and Vicki want to talk about the meeting with the board?
I thought it went very well, Everyone was pretty open to listening to,
Mhm.
I thought they were very interested in what we had to say.
I agree. Yeah.
And so, thanks to Jill for carrying the ball there, and Laura, thanks to you for being our intermediary and all that
Yeah,
sort of
I'm
thing.
thrilled we can have the call in. I think it's really important.
Mhm. Definitely, today's another good example. Yeah, so I guess we could sum it up by saying that the trustees are going to revisit the call-in issue.
It sounds like it's not going to be revisited for a while, but I'm hoping it will be. As much as this is a wonderful committee, I don't think that there's anything that makes this committee special with regard to call-in as opposed to other committees. So I would personally like to see it revisited for all committees.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll be the opinion of the other board members, but that's my
Really?
personal opinion.
Well, we would certainly, endorse that, because it's not just for us, the other committees have to utilize the same asset there, so. All right. No, I agree with Bill. I was real pleased with the way it went, so. Got some things out on the table and discuss them and get work to some solutions. Karen put in here an NFAM meeting at Highwan House, and I never saw any information about that, did you?
No, I didn't
You just
either.
took it off
I
their
just got it
website.
off
Yeah.
this was on their website, and they had June 17th, Taiwan House
That was-
Museum, but I don't know that it
That
happened.
was this past Monday, and I never personally got a notice, it sounds like Mary didn't either, so.
I haven't for a while.
I think NFAM may be on its last legs until it gets some leadership, so. Roundtable, June 20th, yeah, roundtable did not meet this month. I hope I wasn't there.
I thought I got a notice from them.
Oh,
I
you
got an
were?
email from them
Oh,
sometime in the last week
you
and a
know, I'm
half.
gonna think about it,
And I think it was meeting yesterday.
Yeah, you're right, yeah, you are correct,
May, they didn't meet in May because of the,
that's right.
Yeah.
I had that, I guess I wasn't there. I was at the Railroad Museum working on a slide program, so. We were not represented at the Boulder Heritage Roundtable yesterday. And that's always open, if anybody else who wants to go, by the way. Woodwright Shop Display, special opening. Reactions?
Yeah, how'd it go?
They were disappointed, Ross and his associates were disappointed in the number of people that came. When David and I were there, I think David was the only, and he was really interested, but,
Well, that was really interesting. That was
yeah.
probably
What
just-
about when you guys had the morning?
the morning, there were several people there when we were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the morning, we had not a lot of visitors to the museum, but there were quite a few people looking at the displays and the demonstration that they were doing in the park.
Yeah, I was over and watched one of the demonstrations.
Yeah.
It was pretty informative. I think they had some people actually.
It was
watching.
fairly busy in the morning, I thought.
So it was busier in the morning, apparently.
We took a couple pictures. Well, I think we sent you one.
Yes, you did.
We had one lady who wasn't a bit interested in that, but she saw that the museum was open and she'd been wanting to come in,
Okay, uh-huh.
and she lives in Arvada.
Oh.
And so she was really interested, also interested in the Mine Camp site. And I said, you know, get hold of us and we can take her on a tour up there, you
Yeah.
know, if she ever wants. So, like I say, she was an interested visitor, but just to the museum, I didn't tell her she was blessed to have it open that extra day.
That might be something we should incorporate into our website too, and that is that we would open the museum upon request. Yeah, 'cause-
And tour, I think to tour
And tour as
and
well,
explain
yeah.
Grassel Park
And the cemetery
mine
too, I
site.
guess.
Yeah, and the cemetery.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll write that to Maureen.
Oh,
Um,
fine.
So, I'm gonna just throw in something here, I didn't know exactly where to put it, but Heidi, the town staff person who's been helping us, hung the shelf, erected the shelf for the spices next to the stove. So she's really been a big help. I think it might be a little bit high, but we'll get your reaction when you see it. And she and I had a nice conversation about flower beds. And she's going to transplant some flowers out of the one bed. What are they called? Hot pokers? Is that what they call it? It's the
Red hot pokers.
Red hot pokers. She's going to transplant some of those into our flower beds. And I said, well, if we went out and bought some bedding plants and, you know, put them in like around the porches or something like that, would she think about that? And she said that she'd be fine with it, and she would make sure there would be misters or whatever that would be watering them. So it's something for us to think about if we want to do that. I think an option's open.
I think it would make it attractive. And the Acklands, after winning their prize all those
Yeah.
years ago for having their floral display, it's not unhistoric to have the flowers around the mining camp.
You know, when we first opened, we had a lot of flowers in there, a lot of perennials, and the only ones that have survived are those, whatever they are, those yellow daisy-like things. And I told her she could feel free to thin those out if she wanted to, too. Separate
Really,
them.
you know.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're a bulb or what, I don't know what the heck they are, so. Anyway, she's on that, she's doing a good job. Okay, catalog and filing, we scheduled something, but we had to reschedule, so it didn't meet. Oral history program, project?
Back one step here.
Oh.
You rescheduled, did you have a date?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. We haven't rescheduled.
Oh,
I guess,
oh, okay.
technically.
I
Okay.
could do that maybe after this meeting. we can
Maybe
get
so,
it on the
yeah.
calendar.
Righto. Sorry. Mary or Jill, anything about the oral history project?
Jill, have you had more contact with the fellow that's going to help on the oral history?
No, right now I am on the to-do. I've got the scripts updates in, revising them, and then I need to do a quick prototype with some of the pictures. And based on that, then we'll have feedback from there. He's on a big project, so earliest I will probably get him is August. So my goal is to have the prototype to him as that rolls off. So cross your fingers.
Next month is
Good,
July, huh?
thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Anything new in the cemetery restoration project, Brian?
Yeah, so basically on that,
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. My cross out got a little low there. Karen, anything in number 4?
Okay, I sent a thank you to Danny Kupner. He gave us that 2-person saw, but he also gave us a huge pipe wrench.
Oh,
Monkey wrench.
Or monkey wrench or
He
what.
said it's an antique. And when I say high, it must stand about that high. It's a big one.
It's really,
seriously?
we
Yeah.
stopped by his house and he was kind of funny. He said to Wally, you got to come over to my workbench. Not Karen, she can't come, but
Oh.
Wally. And he said she wouldn't know what this was anyway. Does he know I used to, not that big, but I've used her bench before.
So I grabbed
But
it so
anyway.
she couldn't use it on him.
Good play, Wally.
Where is that?
It's in our garage.
So you're
And when we
saying
have
from
our-
floor to the end of the handle, is that tall?
Well, it stands up about that, huh?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, it's huge.
Two-person ranch.
Yeah.
Did it say where it was used? Was it from a mine or is it says more like a railroad
He
ranch?
just said it was historic. He said, do you want it? And I said, well, sure.
Historic and folkloric, huh?
No instructions on how to use it.
Okay. So one of these days it'll make its way over to the museum, huh?
Yes, it will.
Okay. That'll be in Wally's antique sale.
Yeah.
No.
We
Yes.
need to thank, or I guess I have a question. Do we need to thank the Boy Scouts for their donation, or do we not?
What donation?
I thought they gave you $50.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's the question. Do we need to send them a thank you?
That would be a good idea.
And if so, I need to know to whom?
I
send
imagine
it.
that would be necessary, yes. Let me write that down.
Okay, yeah.
Good idea. I took some Boy Scouts up to the cemetery and one of the dads wrote out a $50 donation check, so
Nice.
that's what Karen's talking about.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it was cold up there that day.
Sure was. Okay, thank you, Karen, for that. Anything
Oh,
else?
no.
Brian, on the cemetery.
Yeah, just the latest update on that, Karen. Thanks for putting us in touch with Denise Grimm with Boulder County. So just a refresher, when Boulder County, the town entered into an agreement with Boulder County in 2002 when ownership of the cemetery was transferred over to the town. And the cemetery also became a county landmark at that time. So basically what that means right now is we just have to run by the Boulder County Historic Preservation Board the proposed work that we're planning to do up there. So whether that's something we can do through email or have to just go present at one of their meetings, because they have the fact that it's a county landmark, they have certain preservation standards, and just making sure that everything's good with them. So that's kind of where it's at. I don't know if it'll delay the project at all. It may a little bit, unfortunately, but obviously we want to make sure everything's T's are crossed.
Still is confusing though, isn't it, if it's deeded over to the town?
Yeah, I think the fact that it's a county landmark, that's the piece where, even though, yes, the town does own it, it's the fact that it's a Boulder County landmark, you have to prescribe to their historic preservation.
So just to review the bidding there a little bit, Wally had this conversation with Denise Grimm, who's open space coordinator or something like that for Boulder County. And so I followed up with an email conversation and she forwarded these documents. And so we have the documents in our collection documents relative to the cemetery. So we already had it, but we didn't know what the heck, how they applied to this particular situation. So I was able to forward those over to Karen Snortland and Brian, and they're taking the action from there.
I suppose, Larry, it's like the State Historical Fund. They gave us the money to restore, say, the house at Grass Hill Park. So while it belongs to the town, we can't go and put big extensions and, there's a control over it.
Probably a good analogy, yeah.
Now, she had also told me when I was talking to her that, and I think I mentioned that here a while back, but anyway, we can apply for, I believe, and get it back in, as far as the historic thing, in our jurisdiction. And I'm wondering if that's the case, do we then lose the Boulder County landmark designation? And if we do, does that do anything to any grants or anything which would be related to the cemetery? Is that going to make any difference? On the other hand, if we lose it, is it really, and I'm not trying to be cute, really a big deal?
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Katie.
I think it's a big deal. I think we always we should tout that's a big deal that we have a landmark in our town,
Well,
and what comes with it is there's lots of stories coming out of Boulder about these the
Yeah.
things that are landmarked. There's a lot of things you can't do, but we're doing it right, so it's okay. And maybe we'll get an award, next
Yeah,
year for
maybe.
it, for actually preserving it the right way, But I think it's probably, I don't think it's causing limitations to us, right? So I don't think we should necessarily worry about exploring getting rid of that landmark. I don't know why we would ever want to get rid of the landmark.
Well, I'm not saying that
Obviously,
we
if we're-
wouldn't necessarily get rid of it, I'm just wondering if we wanted to take it back so that we didn't have to go through them for anything we wanted to do up there, how would that affect us? And if, like Katie says, it affects something, then maybe we don't want to get that back in our jurisdiction, the landmark part.
Yeah, I think there is an option, the town creating its own landmarking code for that site.
Yeah.
How long that would take, and, I mean, obviously, we'd have to change our code, and, like, how long that would take and what stipulations would be involved then, I don't know. But,
And we may not want to do that.
yeah, exactly, yeah, if it ever got to that, town board would decide on that.
Well, we're moving along, it sounds like, so.
Does it look like, you said it might be delayed a little, does it look like most of the work will be done this summer?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to say because with this latest, we're in communication with Denise and just to see what's the most efficient way to present to them. So, I mean, it's just a matter of, I know Karen's working on putting the bid document together and for some of the work. So, I just don't know yet. I mean, I know September was the goal, So, yeah, we'll see.
Before the frost or something like that?
Yeah, well, so, I mean, the historic, or the walk up there, right, that you guys used to do in October, that would be ideal. So,
Ideal for what?
well, ideal for doing that program,
Yeah.
bringing that program back,
Having
potentially, if having the work done before then, but.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm not quite sure what the preservation project is, so maybe,
Yeah.
you all know, so maybe we can meet, you could enlighten me at some point. I don't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
take the time right now.
Well, Brian also has a lot of, some information to forward to you too, probably.
Yeah, I can send you the presentation that we gave to the town board, and
Okay.
has a little background on it, and,
But otherwise, sure enough,
Yeah.
Vicki, we could get you up to speed on that, yeah.
Okay, making it prettier and more accessible.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. My one great aunt would like that.
Oh, right, yes.
She actually fell going up to it this year.
This year?
She's 84, yeah.
I know,
But
You shouldn't do that.
I know.
It's tough,
but
it's a
she
tough
ins-
hike.
Yeah, but she insisted she wanted to be there, so
Huh?
she goes every Memorial Day.
Sometimes, for future reference of this, but maybe, hopefully, actually, it won't be this way, but sometimes the town staff's also offered to drive someone up there
Yeah,
in a all-wheel drive vehicle or something like that, so.
okay.
Right, Brian?
yeah.
After I said, I better check, make sure.
Yeah.
Do we have any idea as to when that street may be taken over there to the cemetery?
Yeah, I mean, Patrick would let me know when that happens, but I don't think anything's happening quite yet with that, or anything's gone to the board with that yet.
I haven't heard anything yet.
Okay. What if they could do just a temporary,
Oh, like,
Street.
yeah,
that
well,
would, and would eventually would be
yeah.
erased, so to speak?
There is that access from the development there.
Yeah.
Where you can drive and get closer, but I know it's a little rough at this point.
Well, let's see how that evolves, because I know I'm thinking if the street isn't in, even though the cemetery might be renovated, how is it going to get to it other
Yeah.
than by foot?
Yeah.
Keep that in mind, okay.
While we're on that topic, Vicki, you mentioning your great aunt, we had talked to the committee, the cemetery, wherever we all, cemetery restoration committee, had talked about if there were descendants of people in there that we really want to tap their memories and all for a resource. So here we've got your great aunt as obviously one
Yeah, actually, my great aunt, my other great aunt, Melba, passed away. She did all the history of the Spicers clear back to the 1600s. And I was just telling Larry, I saw Wilma Spicer at a funeral this last week, and she was telling me about some of the grave sites and what was going on. Her grandparents, which are my great-great-grandparents, are in there.
We need to get that down.
Yeah,
in writing.
and she was telling me, they wanted to put Harold, who is the owner, her dad, in there. Well, when Pearl, her mom passed away, they wouldn't let her, so then they wouldn't let them put anyone else up there. So Pearl's not there and Harold's not there. But
Right.
they're my great aunts and uncles, my mom's aunt and uncle. So it's like, yeah, but so Wilma was actually, she said she wanted to come to one of the meetings.
Mm.
So I'll have
Love to have her.
to make sure she knows when they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do need to do an oral history or something and get down what she remembers.
What she knows. I know, I really wish we would have
Yeah.
done that when my Aunt Melba was alive. She was
Yeah.
90, she's passed away a year ago.
She was sharp too.
Yeah. But she has all the history of the Spicers, where they were born and how they came, when they came to Colorado, and years all the way back to 1600s.
Yeah.
So she did this, that's what she spent a lot of her time doing. It's pretty cool, yeah.
Fantastic gift to you all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I have pictures of William and Abby Spicer that are buried up there. I have pictures of them. So I don't know if I ever gave you those from before.
I don't believe so.
Those would be neat.
Yeah, because that's one of the
Yeah.
first, some of the first stones you see when you walk through the gate, yeah.
Yeah. So I can give you those.
Yeah, good.
I know there's more, but I have to get them now from my cousin.
Right.
When Melba died.
Well, Brian will send you that information.
Okay.
About, and then we can follow up and talk with you about it.
And part of the restoration project, we're going to have, a couple of interpretive boards. So if we have photographs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not just stones of
Right.
a couple of these people would be, and those haven't even begun to be written up or anything yet.
But,
So,
okay.
yeah, great. Super, super.
So we're down to number 6 about the sports table photos.
Sure. So the update is, before we kind of went full steam, I emailed, I think I copied you on it. I was like, maybe we should check to make sure that the sports stable people are still okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's a joint bill, but he said, great, Luke Taylor, who's in charge of the actual sports stable part. He said, great, sounds good, looking forward to seeing it. I haven't hit him up yet for the sponsorship, but we'll do that.
We'll get 'em.
So the next steps, I had done this kind of like plan that we're already signed up, okay, right, of course, signed up for the 4th of July booth. For the booth, we had planned on having the framed photo there for 4th of July. You guys said you wanted to do that. So we need to choose a photo and all agree, do we want to actually do that for 4th of July? If so, we need to get on it like right away. To pick a photo that kind of our commission sponsors. And so that I can get one done in time we're gonna have an easel and flyers. The other idea is to just kick it off September, for the Chili Fest, but I think we talked about that it would be nice to have it by 4th of July, so.
Okay, what I had in the minutes was that I thought in the last meeting, we had decided not to do it 4th of July, but the kickoff was in September. I don't know, maybe I had it wrong, but that's what I put in the minutes, and
Yeah, I don't, well,
So,
we're
I think
talking
that
about,
was a
we're not
question.
really like kicking it off, like we're not sending out, we were gonna start promoting it with the town and through the chamber and all of that September. But I agree, I don't remember, I had it written down that I needed to start getting a photo done. So that for 4th of July, we started to, it's just kind of like a teaser that if people, it's a great opportunity, lots of people. But if not, so I don't remember either. I mean, the official kind of project will kick off September.
yeah.
But the question is, do we want to get
the
ours
cheese part,
done
yeah.
by 4th of July.
We did talk about, and Brian said, yes, we could have an extra table, so we'd have our historic table, and then we'd have this other table, so it,
Okay,
because there are so many people, I think it would,
yeah,
it would be a good opportunity.
okay.
I don't know, maybe, should we do 2 tents too, maybe? Would that be-
I mean, all it really will be is, we just need to decide what size we want, and then I'll hopefully have like an easel that's a little bit larger. I was driving thinking, I don't know if and then I'll have all the flyers, so whatever, and I'm not gonna be there. And I ordered the fire hats, by the way.
Thank you.
Sorry, random.
okay.
So yeah, I don't think we need like a full, but 2 tables would be probably good. So yeah, I guess the question is, do you guys want to move forward with that? Because it's also a commitment that we're buying, you guys are buying a photo, a photo. And I don't remember, I don't have an updated flyer, but it was like
Was there one?
200, 300, 400 or something like that, the 3 different tiers. I don't know how I don't have a flyer in all of my junk. So for transportation's sake, we should probably do like the small or the medium and not the really big one.
Yeah. What, is there one you've kind of focused on? It might be a good, attractive one that would.
Well, I guess
A lot of
my thought is what kind of what's one of our best photos that represents who we are. And I think the photo we use all the time of the industrial mine is really great, with the hill. But we have one, and I can send out some if you guys want, but a lot of you probably know some of them. We have the one of the depot that says Superior. It's not that good of a photo, but still it says Superior, so it's cool. There's one of the school. Oh yeah, is it
One of these-
updated?
I don't know if that's the latest one.
Yeah, great,
I
thanks.
think it is.
Okay.
Hey, Kate,
Yeah,
do we have one in front of one of the mine camp houses that has Jenny and Denzel Acklin in front of the flower garden?
I know that's in the book, so it must be
I know it's in the
available.
book.
Yeah, so we
I
should
know it's
have
on
it
the
then, yeah.
disc.
yeah, I'm sure that I have.
It would be kind of cool if we may not get our trailhead name, but the whole Denzel, Bob, some combination of people who are still with the commission from when they were there then might be a fun connection.
I was kind of thinking having people in a person or people, it might be good.
Yeah.
A little human interest.
Or I know we've got the actual miners where we have Bob's dad in it. We probably have a Kuffner in there, right? Where we've got people who connect to today.
Yeah, or the school, we have, that great school photos.
Yeah.
My only concern about doing, this is the business side of me, my only concern of just doing one of a house with people is it's not quite as catchy for people to look at as a sample, but I get, so that's just, it's like people will walk up and see a cool, it's a house with some people. To us, it's really special.
Got it.
But
Yeah.
I
can
think
see
it
that.
probably should be one of either this classic, the classic image of the mine, or one that says, so there's also the Superior Post Office, we have one that says Superior Post
Yeah.
Office, and this one, because I do think people are important in it, but the fact that it says Superior, everyone's gonna look at that. Even just families at the 4th Street, they're gonna come up and think that's cool. But I like your idea too, Jill, of honoring them, but maybe we could sponsor it in the name of someone who has donated to our donations account, and we could actually somehow do a plate associated with them or something like that, to bring their names into it as well, but that's my thought. Oh, while you guys are thinking about that.
Well, and I can just have Robert's IP Legal sponsor a person one too, right?
Anyone could, yes.
I still get my way.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. No, all good.
Perfect.
All good.
Okay.
Yeah, I see the point and get the logic, so
Okay.
makes good sense, Katie, yeah.
All right, and then TJ, you know, claimed that with the chamber, this really awesome photo of the mercantile.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's really cool. So the one other thing to bring up is I had emailed Karen and Larry, and I don't think I included you, Brian, maybe on copyright. So I contacted, so all of these photos that we have names beside it. And we have to recognize these people and whether they're living or not. And then the Louisville Historic Museum, their photos are most of the best photos that we have. We don't really have, you know, that we use. And there is a fee to use them. I contacted her, I told her about this project. There's like a $25 fee for each photo. And then we need to write, you know, come up with some type of word, not copyright, but.
Provided by.
Exactly, yeah, courtesy of or provided by Louisville Historic Museum.
And they have their own suggested.
Yeah, state, yeah, so so I think we'll do it right. We don't have we'll do it right, but then there's the people, so who else did I included you on it too.
Yeah.
So some people that aren't alive anymore, they've given us these photos, and no matter what, we'll say courtesy of or provided by, but some of them I don't know enough to know. So you know, if 20 people, 20 businesses, so this is either gonna be like 5 people buy these, you know, 5 businesses, and it'll be easier. But if it's a lot, then we'll kind of have to get into the, like, are we allowed, what photo can we use, and are we allowed to use it? And you had kind of said, I'm pretty sure that if they gave us those photos for Lost Superior, then individuals, I'm talking about, then as long as we give them the credit due, then it's probably
And
fine.
that's my opinion, not based on any legal history.
Yeah. And that's I mean, I agree. I'm sure when you guys did the Lost Superior, it was, and this is not really this isn't for profit, right? So it's like a whole different thing that we're not like out there making a bunch of money off of these photos.
Here's our problem, though, we've got such good ones to choose from, how do we narrow it down to one for our demonstration one?
Yeah.
I think, you know, generally people say, there was a depot in Superior, or there was a store in Superior, and so those could really generate a lot of interest, I think.
Yeah, I would say it's between, and I can email you guys today or Monday, but we just have to make the decision because we have to get this done.
And then the other deal is that, you know, with our $4,000 budget, I don't think we can flinch on the $25 to have the fee to Louisville, so we're good on that. I think I think I can speak for all of us. They go ahead on that. In fact, I talked with Bridget about it.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So do you guys want to choose right now, or do you want me? I mean, I really think it should be probably between the industrial mine or the one that shows and you guys can pass these if you want. I mean, you probably are familiar with some of these.
Why don't we decide so you can move on? I just like the scene, personally, the one of the scene of the mine camp and the mine, that one there,
Yeah.
That's me. So anybody else? Who else wants to give an opinion?
They're all great. I don't mind.
And then the other one with the post office. There's one that says Superior Post Office.
Well, I've thrown out one. Anybody else want to either
I don't
endorse
think I'm
it?
supposed to weigh in, but I like the Superior one, the ones that say Superior.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think down the road, if a bunch of people like images, we would, like if the town wants to sponsor one, there's a few that we might be able to say, we really think this one's an important one, because some people might choose, like we haven't yet got to the point that it's like, can you choose your own? I don't, you know, but it would be like, this is an important photo. So I don't think we can always kind of lead people the right way.
Can we do 2 in this short period of time?
For us?
Yeah.
Just for display at the 4th of July.
Yeah, probably.
We've got We've got lots of money right now.
Sure. Which two?
Okay, the mine camp
Yeah.
Mine camp.
and
And one with
The mercantile.
Okay.
I like.
This one's taken. That one's taken by
That's by
TJ.
the
Oh, okay.
chamber, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it'd either be the depot or the post
Let's
office.
do the depot
Yeah.
and the mine camp. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
My opinion.
Sure.
okay. And maybe I will do one small one as a sample and one medium, so people can see
Oh, that's a good.
also. So I will start working on that right away.
Okay,
And that's it, I think, for that part of it.
okay.
Yeah,
Thanks for all your work on that, Katie.
yeah,
This is-
It's exciting.
Good
It's
project,
exciting.
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. Trailhead naming, I don't know if there's anything new on that from Brian or Laura on.
Yeah, I don't have the notes from the last OSAC meeting. I mean, I know they were discussing trailhead amenities at that trailhead, and I imagine they probably discussed their top three that they came up with. Obviously, they got your guys' recommendations, but without having the notes, I don't know when they're gonna take those to the board or whatnot, so.
I believe in July is when
In
we're
July,
going to get it
okay.
done, but I'm not sure which meeting yet.
Okay.
Okay, one of us should go to one of their meetings and explain the Ackland, Oregon more, but otherwise, I just wonder if we can make sure that we re-emphasize to them, our preference didn't make the top three.
When the names were sent from the Historical Commission over to OSAC, was there an explanation provided with each of them?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a little blurb.
Or
on
maybe
each.
not with each of them, but with the most important?
Yeah, I did
right?
each
Was
of
it
them,
ever,
yeah.
okay, great.
Yeah. Well, we don't have our long-term planning person with us anymore, so number 8, I don't know if there's anything new on long-term planning.
I left that in the agenda. I didn't know if you wanted it left in.
And is
So we
Lindsay
don't
gonna come
forget
to
about
any
it,
more,
or-
or is she done now?
No, she didn't get reappointed,
Okay,
so,
so
but
she's-
she is gonna volunteer.
Yeah, okay.
And she will come on Saturdays when they have the museum open or special events and so forth.
Well, maybe I'll email her to get those updated documents.
Okay,
and then we need to make sure, maybe not every meeting, but every other, or something, that we have a look and are
Yeah.
keeping.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
so Mary, I took Lindsay's file,
Great.
and this was probably probably 2 iterations ago, and I actually put it into a spreadsheet that we can pivot off of to see what's coming up in the next 3 months and always have a long-term running view.
Good job.
So,
well, we
I can send that. Katie, when you get the other notes, if you send them to me, I will update that file and then send it out to everybody. It's an Excel document, so it's pretty easy and straightforward to look at if you've got Excel on your computer. If not, we can just come up with a way where we filter it with the agendas and just incorporate it there as items. And I think it would be pretty automated. Right, and I'm happy to maintain that based on meeting minutes and add to it.
And we also have our work plan for the year, that's divided up.
Yeah, well, I put the work plan and the long-term both are in there.
Okay.
I combined them.
Great.
So that's already done.
All
Yeah,
right.
it was a sidebar conversation Lindsay and I had once, and I was able to get going, so.
Could I,
So it's ready, and I think we can transition that, to go from there.
Okay, Mary.
leaping on that, Karen and all, do you think it'd be appropriate to send a thank you to Lindsay? Congratulations on getting a really good historic preservation job in her field, but a thanks for her work with us the several years.
Yes.
Sounds good.
That'd be nice.
And we all need to head up to Central City and see what she's doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Field trip.
Next item is something I put on there about, we've been talking about maybe having the trustees come to the museum and take a look at the museum. Just a kind of a personal thing, opening up between the two groups, the commission and the trustees. But that's as far as I've gotten with it. Any other ideas how to pull this off? And maybe Laura, do you have any perspective from your?
So is the thought that it would be on a Saturday, on one of the first Saturdays when the museum is already open, or a
It's
separate?
wide open for
Okay.
discussion.
I think that would be fantastic. I think our board would be open to it as well.
Oh, would it be
Might be
during?
nice if it could be when all of you guys are already here, like before your meeting, you know,
Yeah,
like
that's what I was
something
thinking.
where, before you go to the board meeting or something.
The work sessions, you start at 5?
We usually start those at 5:30.
Yeah.
I know there are some trustees who can't get there much
Yeah,
earlier than
that's
that.
probably true, huh?
But what we might be able to do is ask Matt to include it in, we have a weekly news update that goes to trustees, and maybe just ask for a poll of what dates and times would be best, and go from there.
Yeah, 'cause that'd be pretty convenient, just to drop over there at 5 o'clock or something and come here, but if they can't, they have trouble getting there at 5:30, they'll have more trouble. at
Yeah,
5:30.
I think it would probably depend on the week from what I've heard, but maybe a possibility. I know, I would love to do that. I think that'd be great.
You can come anytime.
Excellent.
Anybody can come anytime, but
I will,
we thought it'd be nice to
I'll plan to bring it
reach
up
out.
at the next board meeting on
Okay.
the, what's that, the 17th, I think? 15th,
July.
yes.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up there.
Okay. Yeah, let's get their reaction, or it sounds like a good idea, and otherwise we'll just make ourselves available.
Okay.
And also, number 10, I kind of wrangled with Ron Kaiser on that diagram, and I said, well, maybe Ron, you could donate some of your time on this, to save us some money, and he did. And I got thinking, we still have our very nice balance, and maybe we should just go ahead and pay him the other part that he donated. So that's up for discussion.
And I will quickly add,
Yeah.
just a little context on that. So the total payments paid to Ron for that diorama was $723. His first two invoices we coded to the historic preservation account, but the last one we coded to the historic donations account. So just if you want to do the $213 to him, that's fine. It's just a matter of where you want to code it
Which
to.
account,
So,
yeah. Yeah, so it's open for discussion, be $213, and someone suggested maybe getting a gift card, but maybe we could just go ahead and take it, make it a check if we have an invoice. I think I still have the invoice for that. Mary?
My view is to go ahead and pay them. I mean, we're already halfway through the year and we've still got most of the town's money and it would just be lost if we don't spend it. That was an item I was gonna bring up. But let's pay Ron, he did a great job. The workers worthy his hire or whatever.
All agree to go ahead and pay him that donated balance?
I do.
Yes. Yeah.
That was-
I do think we briefly talked about having the diorama, because some of it is coming out of this donations account. We probably need to be thinking about creating some type of plaque in honor of fill in the blank, something, who's given us money recently, and even the Boy Scouts, like we at some point we kind of need to be keeping track of this and putting their name occasionally on things, not their name over and over again, but if it's coming out of a donation account, should
Yeah.
we be honoring someone with their donation?
Okay, so what,
I like the idea, but I also don't think we're obligated unless they donate saying, this is for the fire truck, this is for the wood floors, this is for the diorama.
Yeah.
Right, if they designate when they give, we have an obligation. Again,
Yeah.
One of the difficulties with this is that through the years, we don't have the names of many of the people.
No,
Right,
but I mean, we've
exactly.
gotten
So-
like chunks of money from people, memorial services,
yeah,
that those families should be able to come into the museum and see something that says in honor of so-and-so.
I agree, but I don't think we have many of the names at all, do we, Karen?
Yeah, Bob did a good job of keeping track of that.
Okay.
With his
Yeah,
own
and
list.
I also have it because of the thank you notes.
Okay.
We do have it
So I
documented.
stand
Yeah.
corrected, sorry.
And I don't mean putting their individual, I don't mean, like, if someone gave money for someone that passed away, they want money given to the Superior Historic Commission, then that would be in honor of Denzel Ackley, in honor of someone's name, not John Smith, Jen, you know. That would be certain situations where we got money because of someone's passing away, you know. Maybe there's only one example of that, but I think, I've brought it up before that I think we need to be a little bit more proactive
Yeah.
about coming up with honoring people more with plaques.
We've talked about that so much in the past too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you get a big board, put a plaque on for every individual person and so on. But where do you put the plaque? Where do you put the big board? Because there aren't enough wall space in the
Yeah,
museum.
but like the
to start with.
diorama, like we should be, I would say we're picking things that we've spent money on and those are things that we could say, we were able to do this because of this person. Is that really true? I mean, it's not, obviously, we have money from the town, but the historic donations account is money given to us from people that want to support us. So,
Like something that says like a portion of these funds were used from donations from, you know, language like that,
right,
you know, in front of the diorama or something like that.
Yeah.
Right, I mean. you can-
yeah. And either, exactly, it's more general, or we actually have families that have given lots of money, and we should name those families. We should actually say their names on, so that can be for like August to discuss. Sorry, I went on a tangent on that, but it's okay.
It's okay. And in the meantime then, should we just, to avoid that situation we just talked about, just take it out of the regular account?
Yeah, that might be good.
Okay, now I'll find that invoice and see if that's gonna be adequate for the budget department the accounting department to send that off. We probably have to have an invoice, right, Brian?
Preferably, if you have one, yeah, it's
Okay.
much easier.
Okay. We talked last time, well, actually, brought it to the meeting with the trustees too, our still drafted, directions on how to get to the mine site, so.
Yeah, I think we're very, I mean, I had several people give me feedback, and I made edits, and Melissa added those edits to the walking tour one. I changed the brochure, so I'm ready to like send it somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know
Just
if
let
we
me take
send
a
it to
look
that
at it,
same
too.
guy. I don't know what's the most affordable way to print these. Whatever that, Ron, or I don't know, that company.
Which company is that, the one?
That did the printing for the,
drop?
yeah.
Might be a bad idea.
And how many do we make? And keep in mind, for those of you that I didn't hear back from, you know, you guys need to look at it if you think there's any edits
I
that
think
need
I
to be
need to take
done.
another look at it, so.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I was redundantly repetitious in places, so.
Yeah, but we fixed some of that.
Okay. I'll make sure.
But I'm ready to, like, we should have them for 4th of July,
Oh,
which is very soon. So if you guys want to make edits, if you guys can let me know in the next week so that we can get them printed. I mean, that's really soon, 4th of July.
It's the same, just have to back to it.
okay.
So maybe I'll try and remember, are you looking it up?
Yeah, this is dynamic design.
Okay.
All right, good going, Brian.
I mean, that we, what do you guys use for?
We get there.
Well, yeah, it's somebody different, what this guy is.
Larry and I was saying.
Well, why don't I will just email you, because I don't think it's gonna be like 1,000. So maybe I'll just email you, and if you guys have someone else that you use or something.
And see what what kind of deal they get on the various, 150 or
Yeah.
whatever, something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
We-
Okay.
Although, you know, we might give out a lot during the Fourth of July.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Put that over here. Okay, any other old business?
I don't know if this is under old or new, but we've still got $4,300 minus this little bit for Ron. What
Candy might,
projects are there that should come out of it? Building projects or?
I mean, that kind of leave that, that's kind of freedom for you guys to,
Okay.
you
Can we
know.
email you? That'd be great.
So you've already taken out any, like the stabilizing the barn floor? and all
Oh,
that?
yeah, I mean, there's nothing outstanding, so,
And then Heidi's work's all coming out of the
yeah, I mean, so if
Parks
there's,
Department, huh?
you know, maybe a good thing to do is look at the work plan and see, if anything kind of comes to mind looking at that, you know, and, but yeah, we're 6 months in, that is a lot of money to spend, so really, if there's any substantial improvements at the museum or Grasso,
Well, I have two ideas.
you know.
Okay.
But I don't know how to do it. The first one, we talked about maybe phasing out our horizontal display case, because you have to bend over like this to see anything, and you get a vertical one. So a display case that maybe only be like 40 inches, 36 inches wide, let's say, maybe 4 feet tall, so you could see all those objects just by standing there. But I don't know how to find anything like that. I looked on Amazon and places like that, and it's kind of hard to get an idea. So in other words, I don't know if there's a wholesaler around that provides these products to stores and museums, because, you know, retail stores probably use the same type of thing. So I'd like to explore that for one.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank you.
Because if they have to bend down, it's hard to see.
Yeah, and I know, by the way, I did run, Mary and I had this idea about an extension cord up to the first floor, and I did that the other day, and so that's actually gonna work. So we can now plug in the one that's up there, but, so that helps to have the light shining on it, but,
This is on the diorama. Okay, and then,
and that one, the light in the display case too, it's, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, so,
Here's the copy.
okay.
I would pursue that, 'cause the ones I've seen are anywhere from, you know, $800 up to a couple $1,000s probably, so. But I just don't know where to look.
Would it be, you know, could you pick up the phone and call History Colorado and say, help, we're a little museum, what are some resources that they might?
Maybe
No.
so even go through ANFRAM, but since it's kind of not functioning very well right now.
And I think it's gonna cost, I mean, if we wanna get a really good one, it'll probably be 500 to 800. I mean, it'll be a lot,
I think so, yeah.
so.
Well, now, maybe you know about this though, as a retail store place,
Yeah,
where do you get?
I mean, I guess, do you want glass on it though?
Yeah,
So that's where it gets a little more museum-like.
yeah.
I don't really know. I mean, there's tons of resources for just shelving and displays, but I don't know about the kind of more museum look.
I don't know where I've seen it, but I'm thinking of even a bookshelf with a glass front.
Mhm.
I've seen them somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, we had a railroad museum put up a display at DIA last year, and those cases were just exactly what I was thinking of, but I asked our person, they apparently are owned by the DIA, so our person from the railroad museum didn't know.
We'll call,
What-
maybe get hold of DIA. Yeah. Because we've got some time to get them.
Yeah, well, if you're up
Got it.
for the idea, I can pick it up and see what I can find out.
And, you know, maybe some of us could help you inquire, so it isn't all on your head, so to speak.
Mhm.
I think it's a great idea. I think we've talked about new display cases for a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah.
So, and if we're talking about it, that gray one that's kind of just got inherited, the gray, that's just newer, very, might as well get two. Because that one doesn't do much, I mean, it holds the house, but doesn't look, right? Is that the one that holds the house?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, not the house, the Superior, the new
School
okay.
buildings, yeah.
So if we were gonna do one, we might just wanna upgrade the whole
Okay.
thing.
See what I can find out. So anybody want to help us, you're welcome to, but, I'll ask around, I'll see what I can find out. The other idea I had, which might be something to put in next year's budget request, would be to try to come up with a grant, let's say, or an extra amount of grant in the budget, next year's budget, to pay for a person to sit down and go through our stuff and catalog it. So now, for example, both Louisville Museum and Lafayette Museum had interns, but they are paid interns. And it may be something like $5,000 to pay for somebody to work for a certain number of days, a certain number of hours at the job. Because we need someone semi-professional, I think, to do that. Right? I mean, not that us amateurs can't do it, it's just that we're having so much trouble scheduling it for one thing and paying the time for it. So.
Maybe Lindsay would know someone in that industry more than all of us, or maybe she could do it. You know, ask her to do it.
Well, she's now got an 8 to 5 job, 5 days a week.
Do it at 5.
After she drives down from Central City.
Exactly. Easy.
What would be great is if, in addition to cataloging, if they could also take photos of it and make like a digital collection as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, when we do catalog, we do include photographs in the cataloging process, but yeah, digital collection, digitizing would be good.
Because that would be neat.
Accessed by way of the website or something
Exactly.
like that, yeah.
I was learning last time I was on the commission how to do it, but it was a process that I was like, it was interesting how the programs you were using. So it's
Definitely
still
a
the same.
process.
And I'm
Yeah,
probably
same.
oversimplifying it in my head. I'm like, oh, just take a picture and call it good. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than that, though.
Yeah, I was in the process of trying to understand between
there's
the
this
two
program that we use.
interacting, isn't there two programs that kind of interact or something? I don't know,
Sounds good.
I would be interested to learn and help.
There's only one program that's got so many facets to it.
Okay, that's
yeah.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But I'll be interested in helping and learning.
Good.
Yay. Okay, there we go. She signed up.
You all heard it?
Yeah.
Go back now.
Added your name to this.
As a complete aside, when I talked with Bishop Akins, because I went to the program 2 or 3 weeks ago about the mules in the mine, and it was really a good, really a good program.
Where they brought the mules, right? Did they bring 2 of them?
And that night, or Friday night for the art walk, they were going to have some little burritos to people to, yeah. So it was a good program. It wasn't too long. New business. Well, I will be available on the 6th of July, and I was talking, well, I'll save that. Anybody else?
Should be.
So we have the usual suspects.
I was looking forward to it, but unfortunately I found out that my daughter's having my granddaughter's first birthday.
Oh, really?
On that day.
Oh, wow.
She's gonna have a Wonder Woman party. She's gonna be a
That's-
little Wonder Woman.
That's more important than us. Grandchild?
Unfortunately, but I plan to
Great.
be in the future, so I'm sorry I can't
Okay.
make this one.
Great. At this point, I'm still planning on leaving town for the 4th of July, but back on the 5th. So there's some question of the event might be canceled or postponed, but I still may go over to Paonia anyway. So I just talked with Matt Rarick outside. He's all prepped to drive the truck in the 4th of July parade. And assuming I get back and everything, I'd be glad to, I'd probably be glad to get out the fire truck for the July 6th opening. And I will also, assuming I go to the Western Slope for that reunion, I'll get that blue tub ready ahead of so kind of in charge of that. Who else is ready or available for the 4th of July? Mary?
Are we available?
I don't know, are we?
Who's in charge?
I think so.
It's, you set up a booth and you just kind of man it for questions, if I remember right.
Mhm.
Okay.
But-
Well, go ahead.
We also need people to ride in the fire truck, and I had the joy of riding 3 or 4 years, so don't you want to ride in the fire truck?
There you go, yeah.
Well,
I'm serious.
unfortunately, I am an ambassador to the chamber, and I am going to be up there at 6 o'clock helping the chamber
Oh.
set up, help people set up their booths.
Well, then you
So I
just
don't
hop on
know.
the truck then.
So I'm not sure of the timing of whether I can, what they all need me to do with the chamber so I can get on the truck. What time does the parade
The
start?
parade starts at 8:30.
So it starts convening at 8 o'clock, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we,
So,
around Indiana and Rock Creek Parkway,
okay.
about 8 o'clock or a little after.
Well, so I told TJ I would be up up there at 6. So I'll ask him kind of the timeline of what he needs me to do, and then I'll get back to you so
Okay.
I can. But I will be around and I will be up there and I'll be able to come by the booth.
And if you end up in the park, you can come by the booth.
Yeah.
We usually throw candy and stuff out of the fire truck.
Have to, it's written in the town bylaws. isn't
It would, no, it would be fun to ride on the truck, so I will.
Jill, are you available?
Make sure there's candy, I think Patrick ran last year and quick bought some.
Oh, yeah.
Or do you want, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
There is a rumor that this year we may not be allowed to throw candy.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that has come to pass or not.
That's not
I
good.
guess there was an incident, not in Superior, but somewhere else, where a kid was hit in the face with some candy or something.
Oh, no.
So I believe it's
What
up for,
happened?
it's
Oh,
up for
my God.
discussion
You
at this
survived?
point.
When I was on the Louisville
Hit in the
Chamber
face
Board,
with
that was a
candy.
huge thing.
That's what I thought came up over there too,
Not
didn't
being
it?
able
Yeah.
to.
So I haven't heard a definite answer yet, but it's been talked about that we may or may not be able
I'll
to
tell
throw
you those.
things.
Was
kids
it,
on
yeah,
the
and
fire
I'll have to, Kyle, I meant to
Don't
ask you,
say it in advance or no kids are gonna go to the parade.
Right, I was thinking maybe it was just handy that they could only hand out, you couldn't.
Not throw from the top or
vehicle, you
something.
know?
Okay, I'm
There was an
not
incident.
sure.
Yeah, I don't know for sure.
I heard it mentioned in passing,
Yeah,
so.
because there was an incident in Windsor with an unfortunate death
Yes.
last year, and I think that was,
Well, yeah.
I don't know all the
Yes.
details of that, but I think
A little bit.
preventing kids getting close to moving vehicles would be obviously handing out the candy as opposed
Yes,
to throwing.
throwing
so-
it and having them chase after it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's, it's
Yeah.
really the chasing after us.
Yeah,
Issue,
so-
isn't it?
Yeah, hopefully they'll pass it out. but-
Running on your truck tires.
Guidelines.
Yeah.
Kate, are you available on the 4th?
No, I'm gone. I'm gone on vacation. Yeah.
Jill, are you available? Second call
Jill?
for Jill.
So,
Yeah, Jill was on mute.
That's okay.
Jill was on mute. I'm gonna be doing my usual,
With
where I'll
flyers.
probably use flyers the first part and in the tent with you guys
Okay,
after that.
good.
and then who should I
Give
deliver?
my seat on the truck to somebody.
Who should I deliver, like, the photos, the fire hats, the easel, the flyers, and the brochures? Just a few things that we have to get done before my vacation.
Wow,
Could I suggest the Wallingorskis?
I think you should, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't
you
think
can-
anybody else left.
Okay,
I don't.
Congratulations. Thank you.
And then
Not a problem.
okay, I'll just be in touch with you guys late next week or so, or the Monday or something, the following Monday or something. Okay,
so I'm
Maybe
fine.
David could come too, huh?
Yeah, I think David's planning to come. And Wally, are you going to be at the fire truck itself there at the park? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think David will probably try to join you there.
Yeah, he likes to do that.
Yeah.
But then.
maybe Alan, is Alan around or Lindsay to help if they wanted to, or ride?
Ellen said she'd be, all right too. She said she could help on the board. I mean, Lindsay said she
Oh,
could
Lindsay,
help on the
great.
board. And Ellen perhaps as well.
Okay, so I guess we're moving along. We'll see about the next roundtable when it comes up. I just put this opening on the commission because sadly Lindsay's off the commission now, so we now have another opening. So just keep that in mind if you wanna put somebody you know in a hammerlock and get them to apply or whatever.
And 4th of July would be a great time to talk to people
Yep.
about that, right? People come in.
Hey, guys, can we get Ellen to do her famous sign work and just do a quick, the Uncle Sam wants you type poster? Fair Historic Commission wants you to put out at 4th of July?
We can sure ask her. That's a good idea.
Yeah. And we might as well laminate it because next time we need it, we pull it out again.
Yeah, good idea. Keep it in
Right,
reserve.
and just a real quick, because that's one of our big hitters, right?
Mm-hmm, yes.
When we get these openings, is we can have it there, we can hang it at the museum, on the door, right, a few places. Because if someone's showing up, they're interested.
I will
In
ask
what
her
we did.
about that.
So,
Okay, so, do we want to have a grand opening for the diorama, or should we just keep moving, keeping on?
I think it might be nice, but let's wait till Ellen gets the other signs ready, the geology of it and all that she's working on.
So August would be probably the first opportunity.
I think September I think summer is just full for everyone. So kicking something off like September, having an opening.
And do it with have the sign, the photos for the sports table and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah, we could have a sample there and stuff, yeah.
Okay. Let's keep that in mind, yeah. So I got an email from Meredith at El Dorado, and so she asked about next year's field trip, so I included everybody, and so we already have 2 dates set. So Superior is the 27th of September, and El Dorado is the 13th of September. And Monarch didn't reply, so. And the 20th of September is our meeting, monthly meeting date, so I put those out there, and so the early birds just grabbed a couple of worms there, it looks like. Hard to believe. Started thinking about it already.
My son is finally made it to attend the 2nd grade field trip.
All right.
Yep.
Guess that means you have
Fun.
to work that
I guess I have to be there, yeah.
And Avery's going to be there. She'll be in 2nd grade, so we've.
Oh, great.
And she could lead the.
Yeah, lead the tour. Well, if she wants to help us that day, we need volunteers.
Yeah.
So, over to Katie at the CAPS bus shelter project.
I got contacted by Deanna. Is that how you say her name? Dina?
Yeah, I know.
She is the new, is she established, so she works for the town,
Yeah, she's the
but
new
she's.
events, yeah,
Okay.
cultural arts.
Okay.
Supervisor.
Events and Cultural Arts Supervisor, and she's the CAPS liaison.
Okay.
So working with Daryl McCool, and she contacted me, I think probably Karen Snortland gave her my info, that they are working on adding historic photos to all the bus shelters in town. I don't know if you guys have seen the Boulder bus shelters, and I don't know if they did it based on that, but that have the historic with the content and.
North side.
So they're wrapping, so the plan is to wrap all the bus shelters in Superior. And,
There's quite a few of them.
yeah, and maybe it's not all of it, I don't know, but, yeah, I didn't like get the details of how many, but, I sent her a photo, and I was really careful about saying this is not copyright, but they wanted this company to do it, so there's a sample somewhere. And I guess the CAPS committee really liked the look of it, and they wanted me, and I asked Larry, did you get my email about that? Okay. To come to their meeting next week.
Oh, yeah.
to talk to them more about it. So it's really exciting. It would be really, really cool. And I think how we would be involved is we would help provide the photos. I talked to her again about some of them will have the fee, you know, a $25 fee on them. But really it would be about us also recommending great photos and content. Because I said you have to have content. You have to have a story with these photos. So that's really exciting. That just came up in the last maybe 2 weeks. So I'm gonna go to their meeting next Thursday.
All right, good deal.
And I'd like you to come too, Larry, if you can.
Well, I'll look into that because next week is, starting tomorrow is my grandchildren week.
Oh, are coming, okay.
They're coming from out of town, so.
Okay,
But, I'll
Thursday at
see-
6 o'clock.
What's that?
Thursday at 6 o'clock.
Thank
yeah,
you.
and they're putting us on the agenda right at the beginning. They're
Okay.
putting me on the agenda, but I would love it if you would come, Larry, but understand, I'm not planning on obviously staying for the whole thing, but just,
6 o'clock.
Do you know how they're gonna display them, or
they're like
how are they
wrapped,
going to do it?
they're wrapped on the glass.
Oh, okay.
And you can see, there's different, let me see if I can find a photo.
So they're basically protected from the weather too, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how, but there's like all these, here, you can pass that. So that's just like samples of it. So I think it's just like wrapped by a sign company kind of with like outdoor vinyl probably.
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't know how many there are, but it's a really awesome opportunity to tell the story about Superior, so.
And it would be so neat to have, like, I don't ride the 228, but say up by Autry Park, have something about Autry Park.
Yeah, the different
And down
locations.
here, something about the original town.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Copy. She actually gave me a draft just now. Oh,
So kind of by location, a little.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
smaller, but it.
Well, this is really an exciting project.
It is, it's really neat. Yeah, it's really neat. We probably, if it works, we'd have to really work closely with them on providing some good content with them, so. So that's it. So I'll have an update probably at the next
Okay.
meeting about
Keep me
it.
in the loop on that, and if I can squeeze out, it sounds like it only be like half an hour. or
I would think so.
something like that.
I would think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Excellent.
yeah.
This is nice to have this inter-commission cooperation type thing.
Absolutely.
All right. Other new business?
I wrote down that we needed to talk about the Labor Day being in the Labor Day parade.
Good job.
And if we want to do that, yeah. And then
First
we
question is,
probably
do we
need
wanna
to
do
talk
it
to the
again?
town,
Yeah.
first of all, to see who's available, and then figure out if we want to do it. It really was great last year, wasn't it?
Think so? Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. And we had talked about getting hold of Louisville themselves and see if they want to run their historic vehicle in it, and also Lafayette.
Where is the Labor Day parade? Is it Worcester?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right down Main Street.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I should know.
Yeah. I didn't want to say
I
that.
forgot, yeah.
Yeah, it's Labor Day, so associated with the coal mining days and stuff like that. But, so we put our fire truck in it last year, and, well, who from the commission was there? You?
I rode,
Clint
his family
Folsom.
rode,
And me,
and you.
and then,
Clint Folsom.
Yeah, well, I didn't, yeah, I was thinking of just the two of us, though, from the commission.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was.
So, but other people, please go, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if we do it, we need to sign up with Louisville and pay our fee or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I just did that last year, actually. It was later in the summer. Just, they have a float application, and you can put all the details and what they'll announce during the parade. So just a matter of you guys telling me if you want to do it again this year.
I mean, I think it's good. I think it's good publicity for people to know that Superior is alive and well, it has a history.
Okay.
And I guess just advance notice about the driving,
Yeah.
because that came up last year, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That was it.
going
About
to be a
who's
really
available to
important
drive.
issue to resolve because turned out our driver wasn't experienced in driving it.
He kept grinding the gears and everything the whole way.
So, once again, Wally and I finally got cleared on that, so doing out, I don't know if you have to bring in Matt Rarick on his own time or whatever.
In which case, we'd have the money to pay him. I mean, it wouldn't be fair to ask him to donate it, but we could pay him out of our money, his wage for the day.
I mean, yeah, if Matt was gonna work that day, we'd figure that out internally. I mean, it's a town staff holiday, but I mean, if he came in that day, he would just flex out another day, you know.
Take comp
So,
time.
yeah, we would.
Give them some kind of leave.
Yeah, but I mean, there's probably other ways the commission can show their appreciation. Let's say if Matt did that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
idea, yeah.
Yeah, well, because that was one of the issues last year.
Well, yeah, so we have a little bit of time on that, but for sure, I got it on my radar now, and
Okay.
I'll make sure the truck gets entered into the parade, and we talk with Patrick and wrap our heads around the driving component,
Okay,
so.
thank you.
Yep.
Any other new business? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn this current meeting.
So Mary moves to adjourn the meeting, and second?
Second.
And Dawn
Robin
second.
Denzel, where are you?
Yeah. Ceremonial motions. Okay, I think we are adjourned then. Excellent, everybody. And there is a chance I won't go to